All right.
All right. Let's do this.
Cool.
Okay, so we're talking about Turo, setting Turo as a business, and how it works, and is it worthwhile doing?
Yeah. So let's get into it. So there's I've been doing it about 7 years now, and
Oh wow.
it's been incredible. I started with just one car, a Nissan Versa, and then it paid for itself in 6 months. So it was making $300 a month for 6 months. So it was kind of awesome that it paid for itself. So I used that money to buy another cheaper $3,000 car and kept on going from there until I could get Teslas and now minivans and a whole fleet of about 18 cars right now. So it's been good. Mhm.
Wow, very nice.
And what are you thinking about starting with?
Uh, that's a good question, and we both have our cars.
Hmm.
Tickets, but I don't know if we want to do that or we want to buy cars. Teslas are very popular in California, so
Yeah. Hmm.
when I go on Turo, 80% of the cars are Teslas.
Yes. So looking at it now, I wouldn't because it's kind of oversaturated. The market is kind of full of that. Unless you can find really good deals on them, it's it's easier to get everyday drivers that people just need something to get around, and they're not as worried about it being a Tesla like they used to be. So when I first started renting them, it was $200 a day for a Tesla. It was great. And now, like you said, 80% of the cars are Teslas in that area, so they're probably what, $60 a day?
no, they're like the cheapest you'll find over here is 120 a day.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, maybe you still have a little market for it because over here, yeah, they're renting for a little bit less, and it's not quite, we had to wrap them to make them more attractive for people. So, yeah, it's just a different thing, different vibe here. So we're focusing more on the minivans right now. But if Teslas are still renting for that much, I definitely check on the number of like reviews they have, so you can see, okay, are they actually renting for that much, or is it because you'll see a lot of people they buy a Tesla, they post on Turo for. I've seen some people do it for like $600 a day, hoping to get one booking a month because they want to drive it most of the time, and then they're like, if someone wants to pay this much, sure, let's go. So that kind of changes things when you see one or no reviews, then I wouldn't consider that as part of the average there.
I see. Okay,
So yeah, what
it's good.
questions do you have for me?
Andrew, shoot away.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got a list of a lot, so we'll see. We'll see how much time we have. But I've done
Yeah.
Airbnb a lot, so I guess my first question when I came to it, because I'm relating a little bit of my Airbnb experience over to this, is I guess my first question is: do people abuse the vehicles? Do they,
Yes.
are they
So
hard on them? Yeah.
they are if you have the wrong vehicles on there. So we learned a lot about Polaris slingshots. They abuse those all the time. The muscle cars they will abuse. You don't rent a muscle car to drive to the grocery store and give your kids a ride somewhere. You drive it to go 145 miles an hour on the interstate, passing cars left and right, and getting into accidents. So that's what we know. And Turo doesn't cover mechanical damage. So those types of cars, huge risk, very little reward compared to the other more conservative cars, I guess. Um, it's just not worth it because when you have an engine blow, and you will have a transmission go out and engine blow, um, Turo's not going to pay for that. So it doesn't matter if you have the best telemetrics in the vehicle where it's saying all the harsh acceleration, harsh cornering. You can use that to try and get money from the guests outside of Turo when they cause a problem. And about 10% of the time you might be able to get them to own up to what they did and pay you. But if you have to use arbitration and Turo, it's not going to work out in your favor because they cover physical damage, not mechanical.
Mm.
So stay away from those muscle cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Okay,
have a
that's
lot of
good.
questions
So if
about.
you rent, Yeah, so if you
Go
rent
ahead.
like a minivan or something that's, someone's using it for like to get the family somewhere,
Hmm.
that's way better.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Okay.
And so when you do have a problem like that, how do you deal with it? So I'm a little bit curious. I mean, I have a lot of questions about the insurance, but like, eh, I guess here in San Diego, I'm also concerned about. We're right by the border, so it's
Hmm.
not that hard for somebody to just grab the vehicle and just take it to Mexico and it's gone.
If
Period.
it's stolen, they do cover stolen vehicles, so the
Oh,
insurance will help you out there. But if it's totaled, as far as physical damage, they'll also help you out. But if it's just the engine that's blown and no crash that happened, then sorry, yeah, you're not gonna get much from that. I was offered $26 after I think it was $16,000 worth of damage was done to a Camaro 2SS, and
wow.
they kept trying to say it was just curb rash, and that was the only thing that the photos would document. It's just curb rash. So that was
And what about?
sad. Yeah, we had some problems, but yeah, what's up?
Oh, what about like other things that they might break that you may not know? Like it's sometimes one of the things I found with Airbnb is like you have to be really thorough after they leave because they may break
Yeah.
something and hide it or
Hmm.
leave a stain
So
somewhere that you can't see. And yeah.
anticipate that happening and know that you're not going to be able to get a whole lot. Just calculate that in part of the wear and tear, the expenses that you're going to have to do. Yeah, you should be thorough as far as looking at stuff, making sure the plastic isn't popped off. Really inspect the vehicle for physical damage after the trip. But if it's less than your deductible, you're just going to pay for it out of pocket anyways. You're going to first try and get it from the guest. Message them,
Mhm.
call them, be like, listen, if we go through Turo, it's going to, increase your insurance, all this other stuff. Since it's not that much money, it's only $700 to fix this bumper. You want to just deal with it directly with me. And if they say yes, then you're good. If they say no, then just pay for it yourself because it's not worth the deductible. It's not worth going through all that. And then it's added to your loss report. So if you try and get any other insurance later, then that just makes it harder and more expensive.
Mhm. Got it. And so what kind of return do you get on a vehicle? Like let's say you buy a hypothetical vehicle for $10,000.
Yeah.
What's your
So um,
basic cost and all that stuff?
you want it to pay for itself within 3 years. That's kind of what you're looking at. So you use the calculator, the Turo calculator, and um, see how much it'll make per month, and divide that over the cost and see how many months that'll take. 3 years is okay. Some vehicles you'll get paid back in a year and a half. Some of the cheaper ones. So yeah, you're looking for that. For the minivans, they cost. We paid $16,000. We kind of got a good deal on them, and they make about $800 a month. So yeah, they did all right there. That's our best case.
$800 in profit after expense.
There are other expenses. We have had about $2,000 a year in expense with ACs that went out and issues, tires and stuff like that per van.
So $800 a month is your revenue, not your
Yeah,
expenses.
yeah. So I'll
Okay.
just calculate that real quick. I hope that didn't disappear, but 800 divided by what, 2,000 divided by 12 is so about $635 a month of profit.
And you do you so it sounds like you don't buy vehicles that are under factory warranties because it sounds like you're paying for a lot of repairs.
Yeah, yeah. So you can go that route and get newer vehicles that are under factory warranty and let them handle things. It's just, in my experience, each day that you're off template or just not able to rent on Turo or anywhere, you're losing money. So you don't want to. If you have a nice dealership that is quick at doing these repairs, then great. A lot of the time, it'll take a week or 2 weeks to get something minor done. So might as well just pay that $160 to Joe Schmo down the road who can just knock it out, get it fixed up, and back on the road for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you're probably paying
That
less for the
makes
vehicle too. On top of that, so you have to pay. The warranty ain't free. You got to buy a new vehicle. So
Yes.
yeah,
So it takes longer to pay for itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what is the profile of like your basic renter? So I guess it seems to vary by type of vehicle, but like what kind of person do you
We're
cater
looking
to?
for
I
families.
guess.
We're catering to families because we're right next to Disney World. So we're looking for that, 8-passenger van, like 6 to 8 people. We rent out car seat. We have extras, so car seats, strollers, anything they might need, beach package if they're going to the beach, stuff like that. And yeah, we cater to the families for sure. And it's great because they have that 300 miles, 450 miles, whatever it is. They end up driving 20 or 30 of it, 20 or 30 miles because they're just going to Disney World and then a restaurant or two and back. So yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah. Nice.
Not too hard.
So is there any way to market towards a specific, just the way you write your
just the
copy
vehicle
on Turo?
Yeah, no, the
It's just the
marketing
vehicle.
is the vehicle that these people are looking for. So if you're, like in Colorado, most of your market is going to be people wanting to climb up the mountains and go hiking and stuff like that. So you definitely want to have a all-wheel drive vehicle for that. In California, convertibles probably would do pretty well, but not the super powerful ones. You'd want something that has a 0 to 60 in, I don't know, 45 seconds. Not really, but like slower, not muscle car, but where they can have that convertible, have the wind in their hair. That's what I would expect for someone visiting California.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Teslas don't have convertible tops. That's unfortunate. Yeah. That would be good. Ooh, convert one. Convert a Tesla.
Well, I think Teslas in California are popular because the gas prices here are way higher than anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's a big attraction for the Teslas here.
For sure.
Yeah. I guess one of my questions is what are the most desirable vehicles, but I guess the answer is it's more by locality. But is there something specific you look for when you're buying a vehicle?
You just do a thorough inspection, bring a computer, buy them used, bring a quality $120 computer that can detect all of the problems, not just the most normal codes. You want to be able to see anything that could be wrong with the transmission engine, all that stuff. So, so definitely plug that in and check and drive around, make sure it doesn't have any issues with the frame. Frame damage can be horrible and it could cause a lot of problems down the road. But just either if you're not savvy with vehicles like that, then have a friend who's a mechanic come with you, or hire a mechanic to inspect.
And
nice.
so
nice.
How much time do you invest in the business? Like when you started with your single car versus now, like how much time
so for me
to kind of manage all this stuff?
Probably close to like 4 hours a week, something like that total. It's 24/7 responding to guests and dealing with questions. I answer most of the questions through the pictures. So on the listing, I have pictures that kind of show everything that they might have questions about. And so that kind of helps. It just shows them in the description, you want to put everything in there. And then sure, they'll have random questions here or there. I do automated messages as soon as they book that answers all their you have a frequently asked questions part of the listing, right? But you can copy paste that into a auto message using carsync.io. And I really recommend that website. It's a carsync.io, and they are great. So they help you with automating the messages, and I'm pretty sure I'm not paying anything. Yeah, I think it's free, and they get all the data. So you're paying for it with the data that you're giving them. all the
Uh,
info about what rents where, and I think they use that data to sell other things. But yep, that's good. And yeah, so about 4 hours or so a week with
So
it.
you put 4 hours a week on 18 cars, you said?
Yeah. And
So
then
what is
I'll
what is
spend.
that 4 hours like to inspect them, clean them, or you hire somebody else to do that,
So
or?
I have employees that help with the cleaning. So it takes them, I pay them about $20 a cleaning, and it takes them about 30 minutes or so, sometimes an hour, depending on if they had a bunch of kids eating food in the back or whatever it is. But they take care of all that. They take care of the pre and post pictures, and I just do my 5-minute magic show when the guest comes to pick up the car. That's usually, well, if I'm there. Was I there for you when you rented?
No, I was
No.
there like 6 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't wake
yeah.
up that early. Yep, that's why. But any guest, if I'm around when the guest picks up, I sometimes I perform in other countries, other states. So obviously I can't be two places in one at once. But I give them my 5-minute magic show, and that guarantees that 5-star review. I've never had a 4-star review, even if there's been problems with you'll have bugs in the car sometimes if guests leave the doors open and then a pregnant roach comes in. So you'll have all sorts of random issues. But if you make somebody smile, it's very hard for them to make you frown later. So giving them that magic, that's something I do, but you can just be personable with them. Just greet them, be a friend for a second, and show them that you're a real person, not a company that is just to be taken advantage of. So some people, if they feel like, oh, you have all these cars and you're just this giant company, then they'll not take care of your car as well, and then they'll try and pull one over on you by not replacing the gas and driving a little bit. It's just you want to show them you're real, you're a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that on Airbnb. I always get a better review when I meet them in person. Just it's hard to give a bad review when you actually know the person, that they have empathy, and then it starts to show them who you
Exactly.
are. And
Yeah. And instead of waiting for the review, they'll just let you know earlier so that you'll have a chance to remedy the situation. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So I have found it's definitely better to meet them in person. That's one of the reasons, kind of a time sink for Airbnb, is like to ensure good reviews. I spend a lot of time just making sure I smile up and make them feel comfortable and address any issues, and I always get good reviews. But it's also a time sink in that sense too. So
Yeah. True that. Yeah, for sure.
and then
This is awesome, by the way. Thank you for sharing all this. This is really awesome.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
I can keep going. I got more.
Yeah. Keep on.
So what are your
just so you
busiest?
know,
Oh, go ahead.
I do have an appointment a little bit later, so I've got about 15 minutes or so, but just a heads
Oh,
up there.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can keep it. I can keep to that.
Cool.
So what are your busiest and slowest times? So like, is there peak time? Do you
Weekends
kind of a
are
thing,
always
or
busy.
is it?
Yeah. Mondays are always busy with the returns. Sundays and Mondays, people return the vehicles a lot. You should have the pricing set right where they have weekly discounts because you want them to rent for the week. You give them a discount, but the days that they would be just sitting in your garage or driveway, they're out rented when you have those weekly incentives. So yeah, busy times for sure, Fridays and Sundays.
Mm-hmm. And
What about times of the year, like holidays?
That
Always
depends
the
on
problem.
location. So for here, people visit Florida for Disney World, and they're here all summer for summer break and for winter break and for spring break, and anytime school's not in, this place is just crazy. So over there, yeah, it's also a destination for tours. So I'd say probably the same times. January 2nd through February 13th, you're probably going to be, I don't know, in California. Over here, it's very slow because it's just spring break hasn't started yet, and everyone's done with the Christmas break, and they've kind of gone all out with that winter break celebration and just relaxing. So
Okay.
And
Makes
Yeah,
to
sense.
do the pricing importantly, CarSync can sync the pricing for you to make sure you're not charging too little on those holiday days.
yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, I had a very busy week this week for Airbnb. Usually December's pretty slow, but I booked every night this week.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's
I was
been
kind of surprised. I
pretty
had to raise
crazy
the
over here.
price a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
so go figure. Um, so what was your biggest unexpected expense that you kind of? I know you mentioned the transmission and stuff like that, but was there something
Yeah.
that kind of surprised you?
That was a huge surprise because I thought everything was covered, and then I found out nope. But unexpected expense with the Teslas was the screens just started melting. That adhesive behind all the screens. So I had to replace 4 screens in a month, and that was 2,500 each, $10,000. That was quite a quite a hit. Yeah, and other
The
expenses.
screens are melting. I
Yeah,
never even heard of that.
yeah, just
Yeah.
dripping down. That adhesive got everywhere. The only way to clean it was alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, and it was just a mess. But we got it taken care of, figured out. All the vans had their ACs go out, so that was another 1,800 each, or 1,400 or something like that. Each of those, and it was the back AC because they all had two ACs. For some reason, their kids were sweating and they were fine up front, so it was just weird that happened with, I think it was 3 of the 7 vans that happened to all in the same month. When it rains, it pours sometimes. So you might go months and months with nothing happening, and then all of a sudden, everything that can go wrong is going wrong. So just expect
That's
that.
like every business, yeah.
Get that in with your business plan, with your budgeting, and know that you're gonna keep a buffer of 30,000 or so to make sure that you can handle stuff when it falls apart.
Is there a particular model that you find is more reliable, like make a model that tends to be a good rental?
There, yeah, the calculator is a good place to go to see what makes and models do better where. Everything's kind of regional with that. Like I said, over here, the minivans doing
Oh,
really well.
I
So
meant in terms of reliability of like, is Nissan better than
Vehicle.
Honda or something like that?
oh
Or
yeah, for sure. Nissans, Hondas, Hyundais, like nowadays, most of these manufacturers are copy pasting each other, doing the same thing. It's kind of a lot of the parts are the same, so the quality's pretty good with most of this. The cheaper one is like the Dodge Caravan, as far as the vans that we have, and we haven't had any problems with that. Compared, people like to rent the Honda Odyssey a lot more, and we have that going for more money, and we paid more for it, but they all stay booked pretty well. They all rent out pretty well. So, and as far as quality of having to do maintenance, it's just tradition, standard tires, oil changes, flushing liquids and replacing stuff. So keeping up with the some guests, they really go through the windshield wiper fluid, all of it. I don't know why. And so we've had that happen a couple times. So it's like, okay, we just replaced it, but fine, $2 more. Here you go. Yeah.
not expensive, but yeah, some people just hold the thing and yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, they're like,
It,
it's so dirty.
I guess I have like one final question, which it's like 3 questions, but it's kind of just wrap it all into one, which is like, if you could do it all over again, or what was like the big thing that I'm sure you were kind of green when you started, or something you just didn't realize when you got started. It's just like, oh, no idea.
Great question. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. So when I first started, yeah, I had no clue. Like I said, I just posted. Okay, so I broke up with my ex-fiance. She had a car that I bought from her for $3,000 because she was out of the country at the time, and it just made a lot more sense to make that split amicable. And then, yeah, I just Googled what to do with your second car, found Turo, posted those pictures, and then right away started making money. That was just the most incredible thing. So that start was perfect. It was just like, whoa, how is this possible? Okay, here we go. Looking back, what I would have changed is I would have never messed around with the flashy cars, the muscle cars, the Polaris slingshots. Those turned into the biggest nightmare. I lost about $320,000 in a year and a half from the Polaris slingshots. We grew from 1 to 44 of them in our fleet, and it was the biggest nightmare. We were doing great when it was just a few of them, and then accidents kept happening. People doing donuts almost every day. We had to replace a tire for a while, and then just transmissions, engines going out, stuff like that. So it was just crazy nightmare. And yeah, I would have never touched any muscle car, anything. And the types of people that rent those, some of them are good, but 60% nope. And they will. I had to be ready to call the police. There were guns involved and some bad situations.
Wow.
It was because of the type of car that attracted those gangsters, thug people who are aggressive and have that sling bag that has the obvious impression of a gun inside, and they're carrying around, like acting all tough, trying not to pay, because we had security deposits for the ones we rented off of Turo. And we took the slingshots off of Turo pretty quickly because Turo was charging the guests about $600 for a day rental, and we were getting about $60 or $50 of it. And they were charging young driver fees, all these extra fees that they would just make up and tack on. And we got none of that, so we took it off Turo, got our own insurance for that. But we had to collect those security deposits almost daily because of the way people were driving.
Wow.
Yeah, and they never liked that, and it was always our fault and not their. Nobody that rents those types of cars, not one took responsibility when they caused a problem, even when they hit a curb right in front of us. Like someone was trying to back in, pulled forward, smashed the curb, crushed the front bumper, and then kept eye contact with me, smiled really big, backed up, and I was like, oh man, that sucks. Well, I guess you won't be getting your security deposit back. And he's like, what? What do you mean? No, that was there. And he just like tried to pass off. And I was like, I was literally there. I saw you do it. I heard you do it. He's like, oh, I had my radio up. What? And I didn't hear. Just like trying to make an excuse, but you just see their face. No one wants to take responsibility for that stuff that they do. So yeah, it's sad that, but the people that rent the van, certain cars, it's just everyone's different, and I've had it. It's still a problem. You're going to have this problem with just about. It doesn't matter the vehicle, but I've noticed it's like 1 in 80 people cause these types of problems with these regular cars, and then it was 1 in 2 for the slingshots. So yeah, it's a numbers game, and just know it's going to happen, and know how to react and respond, and not get butthurt about it, and just explain to them in the right way. Like, listen, these are the pictures that we took before the trip. These are the pictures we took after the trip. It's obvious that it doesn't matter if, because they're going to be like, oh, someone must have backed into me when I was parked or whatever it is. And then in the contract that I have them sign, it says, yeah, it doesn't matter what happened, what the excuse is. You're responsible for all damages that happen to the car while you have the car. So if an alien comes down and sits on your front bumper and dents it, then you're responsible for that. Not they. So,
where did you find this contract? Did you make it up yourself?
Yeah. So I hired an attorney on Fiverr actually. So I should probably get a more ironclad contract figured out. But the one I have, it's worked for us so far. We haven't had to take it through the legal system yet, thank God. But I've heard that it might not stand up in court. So yeah, we should hire a bona fide attorney that is here in the U.S. and not someone. Yeah, because there were a lot of grammar problems and stuff, so I had to correct a lot of the contract. But it looks okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Nice.
90% of it. It's just having something in writing ahead of
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. So to sum up your
That's
question about things that I would change going into it, yeah, I would stay with more normal cars longer, um, and just see what the demand is and satisfy the demand. So for us, the demand was vans. I wish I had figured that out earlier because I would have been a lot better off finding out that information. So use that calculator, figure out where the demand is, what people are looking for, and then satisfy their needs for sure.
Nice. So
cool.
you say it's a worthwhile business to explore.
What's that?
Overall, you say it's a worthwhile business to
Oh,
explore.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. It'll give
Yeah.
you that financial freedom. And like I said, it doesn't take a whole lot of your time. Even if you're doing everything yourself, which I did for the first 3 years, I did all the cleanings myself. I did all the communication with the guests, meeting them, handing off the keys, everything. It was still probably less than 8 hours a week, something like that. So not too bad.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
it made more money. So I was working at the Great Magic Hall, doing 17 magic shows every week, working 40-hour weeks, and it made more money than all of that. So that was good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool, man.
Wow.
And it felt passive, even though, yeah, you are doing stuff. Those communications you're having, it doesn't feel like work. Just the cleaning. That's all.
I feel the same way about Airbnb. It feels passive until you have to scrub and clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But listen to the right audiobook, and it's like you're staying productive while you're doing that cleaning. Everything's fine.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time. This
My
has been
pleasure.
really awesome.
My pleasure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I wish you the best with this venture. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions in the future, and we can chat back and forth about it. But yeah,
we'll keep you posted. Well,
sure.
what we end up doing.
Awesome.
One quick
Andrew,
question. Do you regard a Tesla as one of those cars that attracts somebody that's a tough client, or
it's less so than the slingshots and the muscle cars for sure. But because we wrapped them all shiny and they've got that bling bling, it can attract the wrong crowd, and it's about 1 in 15. And like I said, the slingshots, it was about every other person was that wrong group that would just be aggressive with it and all that. So yeah, they still come, and it's because of the wrap. So if it's just a regular Tesla, I think it'll attract the right demographic, the right group of people that is going to be respectful for it, and not the super, because they just want that Instagram shot, right? They want that, but they also want that video of driving kind of nuts, and it's hit or miss. Yeah. So make it less crazy, and you should be okay.
Make it boring.
Yeah.
More boring the vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you have a Plaid, that was, but if you have a Model Y, it's a different.
Yeah, you want to be able to. You're going to experience that where people will have flats during their trip. Do everything you can to check the tread depth. Make sure that you're not letting people rent the car with tires that are about to pop. You need to be on it, and have on eBay you can get the best deals on tires, and you want to be able to replace those yourself right away. So have a jack with a. If you do go Tesla, you're going to need a little rubber piece that you can find on Amazon that helps you jack it up on the right lift point, because otherwise you'll crack that $20,000 battery. But you want to be able to do that yourself within. You don't want to have to call for simple things like that. You want to be able to boom right away, where it's not going to interrupt their vacation, because the worst thing you can do is mess with someone's vacation. So have tires on hand, be able to, and have one extra rim that's the right size. So I'd recommend getting a few of the same car, so that you could have just that one rim that you can take and put on any car.
Yeah.
That will happen.
Nice.
Yeah, so for our Teslas, we have just the one extra rim, and we use it probably every couple months, every 3 months or so, and we shouldn't ever need it. It's just sometimes we forget to check the tread depth, and that's on us. We need to never let that happen again. So
Nice. Okay, Andrew, any final thoughts?
I'll stop now. I'm good.
well, yeah, it's been fun, and appreciate you guys, and feel free to reach out, and we could continue this. Send me a video message if you have another random question in the future that comes up, and I'd be happy to answer that for you, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
No, I'm
Thank
really
you.
grateful. This is really great information. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. All right, have a wonderful day.
Oh.
See you.
Yeah.